we have come to probably one of the most important arrows in our 6 arrows. This entire thought process is led with the R word, the revenue word. I will elaborate on why this is a very important word with few examples. Before that, let's try to understand the notion that we talked about sometime back in one of the earlier arrows. We spoke about revenues being a hope. Why do we say that? On a regular basis, when companies or businesses get ready to go to market for a certain revenue, surprises happen in the way. That is, a competition might launch a product or an offering which can wipe out your market share, or it can wipe out your company. So essentially, the ability for building for revenues, when that becomes propagated across at least the most important functions inside the company, whether it's a product function, operations, or whether it's finance function, all this, when they work together, now we are building something. Even if surprises come on the way, it doesn't wipe themselves out completely. So let me just elaborate this thought process of revenue. It's not a simple word revenue that we talk about. We have a few wrinkles inside revenue which we need to be aware of. One of them, obviously, steady state revenue or steady revenue. The ability to get steady revenue, for example, if your revenue is a sawtooth revenue, as they call it, revenue goes up, revenue comes down, revenue goes up, revenue comes down, essentially what happens, your cost is going to run in the same way. So your skeletal P&L should have thought about this so that you have enough adjustment on the cost. That is steady recurring revenue versus inherently a business which doesn't bring you steady and recurring revenues. And then quality of revenue. What does that mean, quality of revenue? There are certain revenues that we don't want. Let me take an example. If there are, let's assume that I have got 5 or 6 revenue streams. One of the revenue streams is arguably in a new geography or in a new customer segment. For every dollar that I'm getting as revenue, if I'm going to spend $2 for sustaining that customer or being in the geography, now you're questioning the quality of revenue. I'm not saying you should not be in a new geography. We track the quality of revenue. That means what is the impact of that revenue on the overall profitability? When you ask this question, we become more conscious. If we may not increase the revenue in the geography too much, we will be very cautious because the overall profitability gets affected. So in short, this arrow through its templates will help you in terms of defining clearly what is the realistic revenue. How do we ensure that the offering, the configuration, the pricing, the positioning helps you from a perspective of realistic revenues? How do you respond to market changes in revenues? What are the assumptions we have taken in terms of steady revenues? And also, what does quality of revenue mean? Most importantly, the operating plan help you to launch your offering or your product continuously. I'm not talking about one product launch. I'm talking about you as a business continuously bringing new products, markets, or new products or new offering into the market regularly so that your revenue assumptions hold good. Let us give enough importance to this word R, because if you are not able to stress upon that particular word R, what will happen is inherently your profitability will get affected. I'm not saying in any sense we should always get revenue. We can take a very conscious decision for the first 18 months, 24 months, I don't need revenue. But what I'm saying is, let's lead the thought process and consciously accept what we want to compromise as revenue is concerned. If you don't have this thought running in many parts of the company or many functions in the company, suddenly we will find we bring products out, the company is not getting revenue. So this arrow, when we get into the templates, will guide us how to build for revenues.